Famulem, on I don't appreciate. Any size on a friend on a self na this world. I hope so na do well. We really sorry for that technical error there. And tune know for say we know as much as we think say we the master technology can master we. So hey, that's what happened. So we are here, we are back. The conversation continues. I not going to take much time. Ramadan Karem to all with brothers and sisters them out there in the world. And make we go right into today we get veteran journalist now we miss Mr. Winston Ojukutu-Macauley. And only for introduce him, I will make the man of the hour himself introduce himself and tell una ado. Mr. Ojukutu-Macauley, tell Fambul the ado. And before he tell una ado, una no say who side they call from right now. So if not love for country, what else? If not dedication to your art, what else? It don't pass 1 o'clock in the morning. Tell Fambul they do.
Indeed, it don't pass 1 o'clock in London. Fambul and basically in England all over the place. Fambul, salam alaikum. And on our fast, I hope say when I don't begin the fast well. And to my Christians and non-Christians and non-believers, wherever you may be, London, wherever, America, Sierra Leone, Africa, Europe, Una Cabo and Kushe, and hello, it's good to be here, and thank you for having me. It's a privilege.
Thank you.
It's a privilege to talk to my people. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
For the dedication to your art and your craft, and for always, be willing for avail yourself, for talk to, with people them and give them some small history whenever you are called upon. 60 years of independence in less than a couple of weeks, really. 60 years of independence. I want to make you tell Fambul and Small, the Sierra Leone where you grew up in. Waiting are your recollection of that Sierra Leone day? Waiting you remember and waiting you miss and like most about Sierra Leone?
Well, you want to make a tell me age now by Xavier. Well, it's a very interesting question because even for the past 2 days, people ask me, what you get for celebrate? You have people with very strong views, we believe, say, there's nothing to celebrate in Sierra Leone. You get people who believe, say, Sierra Leone is now a republic, so why would they celebrate independence? And there's always a divide as to why we should do this, why we shouldn't do this. But at the end of the day, the SALONE where we celebrate in 60th anniversary is a different Sierra Leone from the one we grew up a member, even at my own age, because some of we self now, despite the age we day, for even the table like we the England for the first day will not be even need visa for coming England. That's how far back it is. And then it was like 3-4 leones to the pound and about 2 leones something to the dollar, and there are a lot of things we could talk about. The other day we talked about Easter, and one good Creole baby where they talk to with a free tongue, here husband, very old, fairly old people now. They may express concern about somebody, but at the same time, they call the person kite coach. But I said, well, funny enough, I said, kite coach not there again, kite's not there again as alone. I remember Easter period when we grew up the Wilkes Road, you know, you hold the kites na your hand from one point of the compound, then go to the other side. Then the person tell you, say, it's a hop, it's a hop, it's a hop, it's a hop. Then you say, right up. Then you and the ace up, you tell the person, say, Jackano, Jackano. Then the person, then, you know, and that's it, you understand. Then the person says, the begin Jackano. Then tell you, the other say, because the kite go caught, then the person go, Ola now, the begin control the kite. And then, you know, the kite go up. The kite go up, and then so tell you go, hey, kite caught. They roll my tiki taka. For go find that kite. You say the kite there. Who say the kite for now? All of that's not there SALONE now. None of that in the Easter, you go be Judas. Judas died on today. We go better tomorrow. You know, us to us. Not so much the money self, it's just the idea, the fun, where you get for say, you go us to us, you beat the Judas. You know, all of those things. Now, if I now devil not their self, the MPP away can ban devil, like if for saying a bad thing, when devil is part of our culture. You know, look, even when you go places like Nigeria, look, Liberia the other day, the president himself was dancing in the traditional devil or masquerade, you know. So that SALONE is gone. It's no, unfortunately, that here we talk show. We talk about kites now. We for the talk say the new kite that we Chinese they make now for this SALONE now. So you were the one go to that other end of the company, you know, they go the gate, just put along now, you jack them, it go up, which means the tradition there, but we don't advance. We not even advance to that stage yet. For say because the Chinese and they make kites now. You understand? So if we be maintained with traditions, then if the country was as good as we hope for be, like although the fun is still there, remember then days and we keep newspaper them. Then Uda get money, you go buy the kites paper. But you get the kites paper, you get the newspaper. Then you convert the newspaper to kite, you get the tick and all you do, you get the paste, the glue and all for makeup. None of those things not again. Then come to the real issues of life. Bread and butter, Easter. It's also a family thing, just like Christmas. You know, now it is no longer there. All that has gone. And then Tia not today or yesterday ago. Then Tia don't begin go back from the war. You see, waiting happened with Sierra Leone. Is the war come? We fought the war. Those who survive. Then the way time God get a good road. But who will survive, we not learn anything like how SALONE has been quick for compare we and Rwanda. We not learn nothing in Sierra Leone. If they like today, there is this heightened tribalism talk, this heightened nepotism talk. We have learned nothing. If not now that they talk, say the TRC report for go parliament, we've learned nothing in Sierra. And because we not learn that, not so much the war, but this country where they show, Canada where you they show, they were all part of the First and Second World War. But we've not to the war. The war came, yes, it was bad. But we fought the war and the war ended. But we, your malice and bad blood, not change. The reason we bring the war come, no go when the war end. They remain, and it is not even worse. So that is why Sierra Leone it is what it is today. And we have a situation also whereby, which is also a very significant issue where a lot of people don't know, especially we were there overseas, be it Mende, be it Creole, be it Temene, be it Fula, where they talk, say, I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to know anything about SALONE politics. I understand, say, you get groups there now in this country and overseas, in other part of the world, then they even make plan and the group say, no for then also not for bring politics kind of this group here. You know, you are in England, you are in Germany, you are in America, you are in Canada. You feel say America or Germany will just make Then you come, you're comfortable. As you and I talk, every year, they know they celebrate the war they would have had. And remind people, they say, we'll be not go through war. Yes, but we, Sierra Leone, very unique situation. You know what?
We Sierra Leone, very unique situation. I want to take you back to 1961. Actually, make we take them back further. Make we take them 10 years before 1961.
Yeah, when they try for camp for the independence.
And the independence. I want make we talk about that SALONE. And then 10 years after 1961, make we see that SALONE where we get or where we take with we own hand and say, this is our destiny. We are building now. We earn. We don't take and we earn. We go make and waiting we want for make and we go make and tranga one.
Well, you see, two things. We don't need for labor too much on pre-independence and then post-independence up to that, because for the simple reason that when we get independence, we need for advance. The only thing I would say about the independence, now did the fight begin. Now did the bad blood begin, because anybody will know say Shaka Stevens and the APC been want election before independence. Whilst Sir Milton Magai of blessed memory, the same with Shaka Stevens, may God give them good road, they may want independence before election, 1957, 58, 59.
I want to make you tell the people them that dynamic day. And the reason why I want to make you tell the people them is because sometimes the people then like maybe we they read a little bit more. So we understand some of, that dynamic day. But a lot of people, especially in our generation, they're not they read. They're not they really take time for dig inside history, for understand, the foundation. Because the foundation is very important. Okay. For know how that structure the team up, you need for understand how they build the foundation. So I want me to take some time and really talk about that dichotomy day, that phase where really 60 years on, now make we see we self and go say this na mende man, this na limba man, this na Creole, this not belong, this belong, this they are, this that they not they are. And the brotherhood, in as much as we talk about brotherhood, there is no real brotherhood.
No.
It's surface. I want me to talk about that.
You see, in fact, the thing is, the other day again, same on Salon Talk, I tell somebody, say, the Lamina Sanko Street, where I've been grateful for saying that my office been there the last time I did Salon up to 2019. The apostle they call Lamina Sanko, that have been Creoman Jones, we change his name to Lamina Sanko, just for make the native or the people who come out, the provincials, they understand, see, Creole come for can't take bagbati or make bagbati from people them. It's a long history, but I will just cut and short that with it. Because at the start of waiting with the talk about Sierra Leone, when you talk about education or decency or running the administration of Sierra Leone, after now that they may get that parable where let's see a Kamatil of blessed memory where Shaka Stevens, they can argue, they try to explain to people a week in the talk where Shaka Stevens may say we get for Guy Creole, the Chief Justice, the Speaker of the House, a Mayor of Freetown. Where that argument they may come, that is after independence now. When Shaki say you get God, you get Whitman, they get Crewman. Why make them talk to them in the camp? Because when we get independence, the likes of Sam Milton, Magai, and others, they were surrounded by well-educated provincials and Creole-minded, but they were actually more guided by the Creoles and the one or two likes of Samaritan because now them been don't learn. Now them in the work with the white people them vis-a-vis the slave, but we won't go into that for now. So what happened was that when we get to that point of saying, okay, the British don't get it for giving independence, a lot of the educated Creoles them, in fact, that was why even Nigeria, Ghana, and some other countries they get independence before Sierra Leone. A lot of the Creoles them were sent to Nigeria, Ghana, and other West African countries them for help the British establish the infrastructure that them country then they. So why is that to go on? The gang that we've been doing at SALONE that time the fight for independence, the disunity began because Shaka Stevens and young group be look and see if we get election before independence, then you have a powerful elected officials. We go talk more with authority and demand more from the British rather than we go to the British them, go sit down, talk, then and give independence that we can get elections. But you had a group of Sierra Leoneans that would be really desperate for election and for power. When a day the blabber begin, we take to that blabber no end. So reluctantly, Shaka Stevens and young group, I know they begin call the names of the party because not necessary. Shaka Stevens and young group and Military Maga and young group and one or two of the paramount chief there, then can Lancaster can negotiate for get independence. But from that time, the bad blood be don't begin. Then after the independence, when we get the first election, after we Milton Magai don't govern, he don't be prime minister, with the come now, with the cut and fast. No, we're not going to wait him. Then the election come. Shaka Stevens win the election, they refuse to give the power to Shaka Stevens. Like the Sojaman them, the last them and order, make coup, they refuse to accept Shaka Stevens as president of the republic. Shaka Stevens been there for go Guinea, and basically, cut a long story short, the Guineans and whatnot help and they reinstate Shaka Stevens as prime minister. That now after
it's so funny how in Sierra Leone we easily keep repeating itself, because when you say pre-independence, there were some side in there for election before independence, and then some other side in say no independence before election. That takes us right into the 1990s. Peace before election before peace. Isn't it? It's so ironical how history keep the repeating self, because we know they learn nothing from the past. No, and they say if you don't learn from your past, you are doomed to make the same mistakes.
Same mistakes, yes. So that's not the situation. So when Shaka Stevens eventually was reinstated after I don't win this election, they say, well, Snake, don't bet you want him. He gets sense. And before the Shaka Stevens election, the Albert Magai, not Milton Magai, Albert Magai will take over from his brother. Where to him is supposed to take over, not Carifa Smart. We supposed to take over when Sam Milton died. But Albert Magai manipulated the situation and it took over. It prevents Carifa Smart from becoming prime minister. That was another bad blood.
And see how history also repeats itself again. Yes. Let us go to the AFRC, NPRC situation. Yes. What happened there?
Yes.
Like Sierra Leoneans all over the world, I hope so now they listening and now they pick some really key parallel, now they draw links them. Because this conversation is very serious. I know for say when I can sit down, I can feel say we just they talk for talk's sake.
It is the same thing
to have this conversation.
It is the same thing that happened again, and then they are witness and live when Carifa Smart win the 1996 elections. The present president give President Kaba instead of Carifa Smart. Because SLPP no win the election 1996. Kaifa Smart won that election. Now in them pull the sing say, ah mama, ah papa, Kaifa no to Mandela go work for Kaba. The same day when they shoot Paul Kamara, who was editor for the People. When Paul Kamara come out for challenge, see this election all right. 9 people then shoot Paul Kamara. The soldier man there, NPRC soldier man there. 9 the same if the day for the net for the morning, the scene come out because Kaifa Smart was ready to challenge the elections. James Jonah was the electoral commissioner. Then the scene come out the morning. Ah mama, ah papa, Kaifa no to Mandela go work for Kaba.
Yes. How ironical. Yes. And you see, sometimes I can always say, if we not know whose side we they go, yes, we need for know whose side we come out. If we not know whose side we come out, we not go ever know whose side we they go. When I wonder why make we depend this circle, this constant circle, we not get aid, we not get tail. A young woman like myself, you know, when I small, I grew up in Sierra Leone, observing this phenomenon. And I'm glad to see I've been getting Granny, we've been so open for, you know, entertain me, curiosity. Because I've been getting a curious mind. I go ask so many questions. And she knew history. And she was never shy, not be ever shy for really put me down and explain certain things then to me. So now a lot of people can say, Matilda, how you know this? How you know that day? I can say thanks to my grandmother, who was never shy, who valued education so much. And because he valued education so much, she was never shy to tell me history. To tell me things so that it give me the ammunition for the future. You know, even as we get this discussion, I want to make you talk about, you know, this unlikely bedfellow, and I call him bedfall. You know, this marriage, this makes business between politics and journalism in all of this. No, well, and the role where journalism play within politics.
Well, okay. You see, in journalism and politics all over the world, there are bedfellows. There is no way you can avoid that. But you see, what I want to say before I come into the journalism,
yes,
the issue of the election 67 and on to Shaka Stevens become prime minister, and then in 71 he say okay, so to become a republic and all that, and then after that he fast track and say will for be a one-party state. You know, what do we get for what is silence and get for understand? Even although the one-party idea was initially started by Albert Magai of the SLPP, including this press law wouldn't just remove from the books. You've been getting the likes of Taki and Fauna and others. We've been there with Shaka Stevens. And of course, Taki and Fauna, one of them were journalists, editor of the Wheel newspaper, the APC party paper, where myself, I'm the last editor up till 2019, sorry, when they challenged Shaka Stevens on this issue of one-party business and corruption and other issues, where Shaka Stevens be done learning lesson, although yes, it was a bad, bitter lesson. It clamped down on the likes of Takifona and others. Cut a long story short, it be execute them. Because at that time, it tried for grip power and stay in power. So the blood that again we shed in Sierra Leone, you know, wrongfully, you know, people who were executed just because others want to stay in power. Also, now other reason where also they affect Sierra Leone. And then, of course, we've been get the SLPP, the SFU become where late Solomon Berewa and late President Kaba been killed over 18 people, including Nicola Samba. Again, the blood then shed because people wants to stay in power. So And amongst them, blood and they again, you can get journalism back will be suffer. So coming to the issue of the one party state, we journalism be the challenge. The likes of Abika Gold and they now, likes of Richulu Gordon, where they don't die, the likes of Samet Siga, all of these people, like Pakul, these are all people that were journalists. And we are not afraid, Awuta Koka and others, we are not afraid to challenge Shaka Stevens. But Shaka Stevens was determined for go with what he copied or what he meets that table from the SLPP, the one-party business. And also, you have to remember, it was the prevailing practice right across Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Caribbean. From Liberia, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Zambia, you name it, it was all one-party system. So Sir Albert Magai was also trying to copy that system. So when Shaka Stevens became prime minister and then obviously president, and the only way NCC could stay in power was to incorporate the SLPP and APC. So when people can say that APC ruled Sierra Leone for 18-20 years, it wasn't APC per se that ruled Sierra Leone for 18-20 years. It was APC SLPP that governed Sierra Leone. Because when the one-party system came into being under Shaka Stevens, we had the likes of Salih Adjuso Sharif, may God bless his soul. We had the likes of MS Mustafa, may God bless his soul. All of these people, you get Samabaya that is still alive. You get the like of SB Mara, SLPP, we don't die. There are so many of them.
You say people make this false assumption or false allegations, say APC rules SALONE for 37 years, or 36 years, but that is not the case.
It's not the case.
APC and SLPP together rule SALONE. But some people go make the argument, say, well, that is not so true, because Shaka Steven Mindena power and Shaka Steven in party na the APC party, and it been they crack down on anybody else where defy them or we stand against in authority. So therefore, the other political party, them as we know it, they're not being active. But I think so what you they try for saying, so even though they were not active with a symbol,
correct,
they were active
politically
within the regime of the APC.
And they had power because Salih Adjuso Sharif was Minister of Finance. MS Mustafa was Vice President too. Samabaya was Vice President, but before Vice President, he was Minister of Health and several other ministries. And then he too acted as Vice President. FM Mina as well. FM Mina act as Vice President, he acted as Attorney General. So the list is long. So, but don't forget that Charles Francis Magai never joined the APC. The late Manakpaka never joined the APC. So there were people who stood up and said, well, if Sheki say now one party and then una to go join, me not to join. So it wasn't, they're not being dragged there and not being put gun at the head for say, pass you join the one party system. No, there were people, and two of the prominent SLPP names that I don't call so. Charles Magai was still alive, and the late Manakpaka. Manakpaka and Charles Magai and several others refused to join Shaka Stevens. So nobody will tell me, see, they may put gun at their aid for make Salih Adjuso Sharif of blessed memory, MS Mustafa of blessed memory, FM Mina, Samabaya, of blessed memory, Samabaya. The list is very long. They were all part and parcel of the government of both Shaka Stevens and Momo. Now, when the coup took place, now they move out. Now, coming to the journalism aspect of things, journalism in Sierra Leone, like in most other African countries, has always had its issues with the powers that be. You understand? Me when they talk to you, so me don't see me on from tablet days The tablet was bombed out of existence on a Tuesday for Wednesday morning, by the late MK Shuma of SLPMB. And we then move on from there. Shaka Stevie say anybody who want open newspaper for pay 5,000 leons, which was make you just see how much the silent economy don't change. Because in 1982, for pay 5,000 leons for opening a newspaper was a hell lot of money. Make you just see. Because after the bomb tablet, dynamite, 9 tablet office, dynamite, and anybody who did it could die. The machine and destroy. So when that happened, then people, one or two of who will be left, because Biosphore of blessed memory, Frank Bosso of blessed memory, Indolotre of blessed memory, they all left the country. It was only IB Cargo and Richie Olugodin stay before Richie Olugodin pull out. So who would be left would have been juniors them. We said we would continue the fight. So we started our own newspaper then. But when we started the newspaper, they closed all of the newspapers then. They say anybody who open newspaper for pay 5,000 euros. So I started mine, they call it the Mirror newspaper. That was 1982. And I became the youngest editor in the history of Sierra Leone for editing newspaper. A battle, a struggle, I gave me 5,000 euros. I registered my newspaper. Even after that, it was a challenge because the only opposition in Sierra Leone, as you know, we get a one-party state, was the newspapers, were the journalists. Then you had Khalil Kamara of the BBC. You had the likes of Victor Silva and others. You see, so Rolston Wright and others, Sam Mexica of all these guys of blessed memory. So journalism has always, but there was one thing. We not been afraid for challenge Shaka Stevens. We go meet, we go press conference, we go write story them, and then even up to the time of the 1980 OAU, you understand? When journalists been your prey before the demise of tablet newspaper, you did right. Sam Medziga, the editor, late of Blessed Memory, where they write in newspaper. Ministers, they go to bed na net. They not sleep because they always say, Sam Medziga go write story about me and Shaka Stevens will sack me. That is, me don't see out me. Oh yeah, when PZ was PZ, Whitman, Mackenzie, they run PZ. That in the PZ, anybody remember PZ, the glass upstairs. Where you enter, you see the glass, the balcony upstairs. We enter there. The Whitman, Mackenzie, Englishman, he sees Sam Medziga, he run. So, it would have been Bobo there. Sam Medziga told, say, boys, go upstairs and get the story. You understand? The one thing we will learn then, they say journalism na like a yabas. Where the pill yabas, you tell the road, no left for pill yabas, continue for pill yabas. And then anything where you see, anything you see on journalism, anything, dig deeper, there is something else. That is journalism.
Even with the digging deeper, at the time, so post-independence now we they talk, but right up until say 1980s, in the 80s, we are talking about even early 90s, give or take. The 1965 libel law, how much damage did it do to this profession and also to the formation of the states of the republic?
Well, you see, me being there against the removal of that 1965 Public Order Act, because me now one person where even the minister with it now, the only one conversation we may get before I left Sierra Leone 2019 is that, yes, I know say on a permission that they remove the law. And I said the same thing to the previous ministers of information under Anes Koroma, that you have to protect the public. You have to. That is my only concern. Because me believe, say, if you are a journalist, if you get your facts right, if even the politician they come for you, if you stand by you fact, as Paul Kamara did, where he get the case with the late Thompson, Justice Thompson. Your fact is your defense. But when you not get your facts right, when you write the way you're not supposed to write, which is not true, then that is when you get palaver with the 1965 Public Order Act. Okay, there's this argument that the 1965 Public Order Act, they all removed now from the book, it all the news vendor, the printer, you had to print the newspaper, you had to sell the newspaper, and you will write the newspaper. Fine. That one, it affect the state because politicians started using that for arrest journalists them, even when what they published was fact. So for that one, yes, it was good they don't remove her now. But maybe believe say, I not to contradict myself, but maybe believe say, for remove the 1965 Public Order Act, you, Matilda Cole, we know deep on politics, should be protected. So if a journalist want write about you, he or she must have the facts correct, that when he writes about you, you go team up na court and say, my lord, make Miss Matilda Cole or Mrs. Matilda Cole tell me say what I write na lie. That is my position. But if you go right, you not get your fact right, then I think maybe believe say in 1965 there should be something similar to the 1965 Public Order Act for protect the public, even though politicians were using it to arrest and detain journalists. That is my position.
So from a journalist's point of view, they repeal and then replace them with something else. This new act where they replace them with, is it more inclusive and is it more accommodating to our present day society and the needs of present day society, taking into consideration that the old fashion of journalism is not as rigorously practiced anymore, but there are new forms of journalism and new forms of communications that have emerged?
Well, since they removed the old 65 Public Order Act, nobody try for test the new law. Say, they write about me, and this is what happened. But so it will be difficult to see whether the law gets teach or not, because from where they removed the 1965 Public Order Act, where they bring in the new laws them and new regulations, nobody try for test it in a court, and not even 1 year it completely from where they introduce them. So we'll get for wait and see where the IMC go able to implement. But even before the new law come, a lot of journalists were not taking the IMC seriously. But I understand, say the new chairman of IMC, George Koyama, they try for kind of get it, which is good. And I wish him well. But at the end of the day, journalists should be ready to defend whatever they write. If you say you get a story, you have the facts correct, you have your fact, then you should not worry whether when you write about Mr. Tom Davis or Mrs. Kadiak, you say, if they came to go court, I could stand by my fact. But if you go write about Mr. Tom Davis, and lie, you damage your reputation, you question integrity, there's nothing to compensate him or her for that. So now make the 1965 Public Order Act in there to a certain extent, we caution people. But for now, we know nobody not tried just test the case yet. But generally speaking, as in most other countries in Africa, journalists and politicians have always clashed. They are bedfellows. They are friends today. They are enemies tomorrow. They are friends next day. They are enemies the next day, because journalists write what the politicians don't want to be written.
Journalists are expecting politicians, they don't want to be written. And then I want to follow that question there is that, are the journalists of today, are they as ballsy as the journalists of yesterday?
Very good question. We still get, in terms of in the Sierra Leone context, we get, on top of my head, now one grand policy I can think of now, one or two where I think say they really try. One of them is Kelvin Lewis of our Awoko newspaper. He is doing well. And the man anybody will work with him, the land, and you get the basic ethics right. You don't just write in paper anyhow. And for that reason, I think he runs the most credible newspaper in Sierra Leone for now. That is also apolitical. The show himself for say it belong. For a newspaper, we go show himself say it belong and they do well. I will call the Nationalist, run by Mohammed Sankor, another fine journalist, where himself go to Kelvin Lewis. So you see the thread, you understand? So and then of course you get Thomas Dixon, who is also a very credible journalist for now. On top of my head, when you talk about AYV, for instance, I was familiar with the AYV structure for a few months because I was an advisor to the owner, the chairman, Junior Navo, and he employed a lot of fine journalists. But whether they have the freedom to operate as they want to operate, that is debatable because of Mr. Navo allegiance. Is just which is natural because of course even here you get through Port Modoc we get allegiance with the right and the right-wing conservative political parties. So waiting in thinking now people on the right. So it's not a crime by Mr. Navo for say Mr. Navo get one way when it's a kind of acceptable practice all over the world. It's a gamble.
Who is the middle force in Sierra Leone journalism?
We don't have.
Is the middle force?
I would have been tempted to say our own newspaper, but that aside, we don't have any. We don't have any.
Isn't that a shame? 60 years.
Yes, we don't.
And we are split. Right from independence, how them been split. Now, so all things split. There is no neutrality. There is no middle force.
No, there's unfortunately, there is no such thing as neutrality. Kind of. Well, you see, the issue of neutrality is very difficult when it comes to journalism. I say this as somebody who don't practice both in Africa and practice now, because it's even worse here in this part of the world. But the reason why those of us who they look and say, wow, the Times newspaper is good, or the Telegraph is powerful, or the New York Times is good, or the Washington is good, is because they play it well. And the structures are there. But if you are familiar with the political structures in the West, if you pick up the Daily Telegraph newspaper in England, you know, so the Daily Telegraph newspaper that the Conservative Party. If you pick the Guardian newspaper in England, you know, say the Guardian newspaper is with the Labour Party. And then between them two papers, and you get the Times where they play the neutral role. The Times is neither here nor there. So we don't have that. Likewise, if you go to America, I'm not familiar with the Canadian press, but if you go to America, you have the New York Times, which is a Democrat paper, just like how you get the CNN and NBC and others, right? Not that now the Democratic Party own the paper, but their thinking,
their views,
their views is kind of liberal, left-wing kind of thing. While if you pick the Washington Post, right, or the Washington Times or Wall Street Journal, right, they are right-wing, you know. And in between all of these papers, you have the Economist magazine, which is kind of balance. So the Economist magazine, whether be it in Europe, whether be it in America, you'll never find, I think now on 2 occasions, and then of course you have the Financial Times as well.
Yes.
But on 1 or 2 occasions, both the Economist and the Financial Times don't come out publicly and endorse. And when they endorse, they do not endorse because of politics. They endorse because of economic reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for instance, we are going to endorse Obama, or we are going to endorse David Cameron, not because they are conservative or Democrat, but because of the policies whether they can for introduce, that the policy could generally benefit the entire country. That is what we don't have in countries like Sierra Leone.
We don't have the gatekeepers.
We don't have the gatekeepers, no.
We don't have the gatekeepers.
We don't have the gatekeepers.
Okay, I want to move the conversation to another phase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, some people get the belief that some people are of the opinion that the true father of democracy is the late President Joseph Saidu Momo, while others are of the opinion that the father of democracy is the late Ahmed Tijan Kaba. Politically, journalistically, and everything that you know of our history, what would you say? You can plead the fifth.
Well, no. Well, no, I would not be like the latest Maudwa, like the policeman. No, I will speak. You see, it is not a tricky thing. Those who plea or fight the corner of the late J.S. Momo stand on firm grounds. Those who say Pakaba, father of democracy, they also do on firm ground, but on 2 different narratives. Because J.S. Momo was I would not say the author, but the initiator of the constitution that Pakaba used for govern when he came the second time, because the first election was what should they call ourselves again? When not by constituency, they do have proportional representation. When by group of people they come and say this and that. But eventually, when they encamp on constitutional issue, it was the constitution that J.S. Momo initiated and authored by Abdullahi Conte and others that was used. So you would say that J.S. Momo is indeed the father of the constitution that we still use for govern Sierra Leone. Mm-hmm. Not the father of democracy. He is the father of the constitution that we use to govern Sierra Leone. Now, in terms of who is the father of democracy, for me, and witnessing it live, not a story or anything, I would say, despite the rogue way, I would say it's James Jonah.
Wow, James Jonah.
Because
interesting. So elaborate on this, because I think say right now some people they don't capitalize now. They sit any south side and they watch at the walls. So what in James Jonah? What did he just say? James Jonah. Okay, you need for talk more.
James Jonah was the chief electoral officer for the elections. James Jonah, by cook or by what he chef, by cook and hook, na in confirm say the election of 1996 was fair, free and fair. And I declare Tijan Kaba duly elected as president of Sierra Leone. He could have easily said the election wasn't fair and free, or that Carifa Smart is the winner of the election. But he introduced is it the Third Republic? Yeah, he introduced the Third Republic. So it wasn't Pakaba. Pakaba was a right president at the wrong time. Pakaba was the right president at the wrong time. He's a gentleman, or rather, he was a gentleman. He has the decency that was and is still lacking in many of our present-day politicians and past politicians. And when SLPP challenge him in my presence, now got in street, when I get an office, I got in street. I was there as a reporter. Say, SLPP can power, nothing not happen. He tell them openly, say, I am not president of the SLPP. I am president of Sierra Leone. Similarly to the bad advice way the president man they don't govern now. When Kaba, they may force the hand, the presiding Secretary General demanded a meeting. Now Gordon Street, who's the SFP office be there. But Kaba say he left in work for govern the country, for come listen to party business, waiting at the issues. A lot of people bring up complaints about SLPP this, they know they get this not they happen, this not they get job, this not this not that. But Kaba team up. Not a story, I was there. He said, I am president of Sierra Leone. I am not president of SLPP. As the present people in the government. Yes. So Pakaba was the right president at the wrong time. And he get the decency we a lot of political people do not get. Number one, you not just go Congo to Number two, you not just give advice, it take them. Number three, it was not tribalistic. So he became president in Sierra Leone the wrong time. Because when you go Congo Satoram, say Pakabana so Matilda say una so Matilda do. Don't take my word for it. Read in book or whatnot. He go say I don't hear it. Then when Matilda they with Pakaba and James will go Congo Sa, Pakaba say, James, you remember what you be talk about Matilda? And Matilda there. So let we discuss this issue. So at a very early stage, even before the AFRC coup, people like say, Inspire, where you go tell us what they don't go. So me, I don't go talk nothing. So nobody go to Pakaba. It's just rather unfortunate that the war not get time for making government. But it did one thing when I contributing factor to the state of Sierra Leone. When people begin sing and curse, them bad curse, them bad music, them bad things they want to do, we don't become so rampant now in the country. He said one thing, which is a contributing factor to waiting the goal so now in Sierra Leone. He said, una left them. He better make them curse, make them do what they want to do rather than in a bush.
So if you can say, is that one of his weakest moments?
Yes.
As a leader?
Yes. So these were things being brought to his attention. Say, Mr. President, don't hear what they say, don't hear what they talk. Because you see, say what you may.
What would have been the alternative though? If you not be an advisor to President Kaba at that time, people then they sing, then they curse, basically expressing themselves or expressing their dissatisfaction or frustration, what have you. And then in your response to that now, it better make them curse and sing than then a bush defect. At the time, given the condition, putting the context together, the environment where we've been there at a time, what would have been the alternative?
the alternative, very good question. The alternative would have been an engagement. You see, the situation we'll get in Sierra Leone today, we're going to make it difficult for any leader when they take over the country, is that we never left the scars of the war. And the other issue is the two political parties them that had the fight and malice and bad blood. The NPRC made a gross mistake. Now, let me give you a story. In Nigeria, the parties that will win the independence, none of them are in existence in Nigeria today.
That's true.
In Ghana, the party where Kwame Nkrumah formed, CP or whatever, PCC or CCPP or something like that, not even get three seats in a parliament. And the reason why make it come into existence was because Jerry Rawlings had some admiration for Kwame Nkrumah. In the Gambia, Jarawa in party where come into independence is no longer in existence. In Liberia, the same thing. So what happened? When we had all those military coups from the Gambia to Liberia to Ghana to Senegal, not Senegal, Ivory Coast, Senegal not get military coup. Ivory Coast had a war and whatnot. And going down, I'll just take 3 examples.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, when they eventually ready for, say, we are leaving the military behind, we're going to have civilian rule. The IBBs of this war, the Obasanjos of this war, the late Abdullahi, the Mamo hand over to civilian, they make even the old politicians them got rid of the garbages, the ravages or whatever of the old parties and form new parties. So they neutralized the malice, the bad blood. The same in Ghana. Jerry Rawlings came in and said, we are going to have elections, but none of the old parties form new parties. In the Gambia, the same thing. Form new parties. In Liberia, the same thing. Form new parties. In Guinea, the same thing. Form new parties. In Ivory Coast, the same thing. Form new parties. In Senegal, what happened? When Leopold Senghor died, then the Maui take over. When they want to get rid of the Amdouf, 5 or 6 of the original old political parties break up and they form new political parties. So that man, Papa Tom and Papa James, that were enemies, hang head and say, let we form new party, let we work for the country. But what happened in Sierra Leone? The present leader, NPRC, we had new party. We had NPR, we had the John Karimo party. We had about 5 or 6 different political parties that emerged for the 1996, including Temu Bongo had a new party, Karifa Smart had a new party, even Edward Touye, there were about 5 or 6 different political parties. What happened? Because of the plans of the present president, where himself don't talk and publicly, say, he make sure say, he be wear green. And he make sure say, that green for come back in power. He said it publicly, make them people remember that. They allowed the SLPP for a march. So the bad blood continues.
So as Sierra Leoneans then justify, so the Sierra Leonean people then right way then they talk say APC and SLPP, make we forget what then 2 parties. So
but
make we allow new formation.
It is too late.
Why is it too late?
Good question. You have politics, a part of politics that is local. You have part of politics that is universal. The local politics, you, Matilda Cole, no go come tomorrow in a salon, even a Freetown, say I want to contest na Godrich or whoever part you come out. Then go tell you she be done there for too long, we'll not sabi you. Me, Ojukutu-Macauley, where they sabi me name, I no go say I go contest na Bo or Makini. Then go say no, you na Freetown bobo. Just like we Yumkela come, he go Cambia, and then Peking, he win day. Now they no more he win. Or like we Kono people them, they vote for the Kono party. That is the local habit of aspect of politics. The universality of politics, which is APC, SLPP as a party. Now that we get when you look the Democrats and the Republicans in America, I don't know the structure in Canada, and you get the Labour and the Conservative in England.
The Conservative and the Liberals.
And the Conservative. Now, why I make a say so? The average man in this country now, England, the United Kingdom, not to Scotland, sorry, not England, not to Scotland, not England. No, only the Conservative and the Labour, and then you get one or two go tell you say Liberal Democrats. The Liberal Democrats, most of them will be the Liberal Democrat now, were one-time Labour or Conservative.
So that's like the New Democratic Party.
Fine, good. But Labour and Conservative still dominance.
Right.
Why is in America, no other third party they come into play? Because the average voter no get time again for begin dilute to say this party. So all he or she cares about is Conservative Labour or Liberal Democrat in England, or in America, Democrat or Republicans. So with Sierra Leone, when you left Waterloo, you go apply. When I really vote the more. It is almost impossible for go talk about a new party. The next election, mark me word today is the 16th. It's a straight fight between APC and SLPP.
So basically, what you just tell me is that keep on dreaming, ethno-depoliticization, there is no chance.
No chance.
Eradicate ethno-politicization and depoliticize na salon. Is that what you are saying?
No chance, because for the simple reason that we people them no educated or matured enough for begin for Yumkela. I witnessed Yumkela in Freetown. And in performance with the diaspora and the likes, people under the diaspora. You don't get nothing in Freetown. Apart from Gambia, you don't get nothing. Because and why make it get
so basically what you try for say, because we political structure, we system, we culture, environment is so entrenched no politics, and that waiting they know, like they say Usaya Dena day, they only know red or they know white, and there is no chance for a third force. So even this third force when a NGC where they come, if they want for succeed, they need for again go to bed with either one or the other. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. The NGC, let me tell you now, I said this could be the third time I'm saying this. The next election, in fact, 2023 elections, if the opposition not come together with the APC, the NGCs, the Kono party, and all those other parties, if they don't make an umbrella, SLPP will govern again.
So you're saying without a political coalition, SLPP is on for another 5 years.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Because, you see, let me tell you.
So all of this hoopla blue with the Yeri people and the talk, all of this activism, all of this force, all of this detestation and whatnot, it's all like what I can say, they blow air.
Yes, because unless and until your opposition come together, that Mami Cole, the Crew Party, KKY, Dennis Bright and others, the Kono Party, and the RUF Party and others, then come with Kambaremba. In fact, Kambaremba, when they eventually release him, may God get long life is he live for Komot. When he Komot, you understand me? Eh?
Mm-hmm.
It will be such a force that if anybody ignore him, that person they know they get waiting they want.
Wow. So you're saying instead of the NGC, you're even looking at the ADP as imagine as the third force.
Not third force. Kambaremba,
The force.
Kambaremba, KKY, and the Kono Party should come with that Mami Cole.
Yes.
Come together with the APC. Then what will happen? There is no way SLPP go able to do anything with the election. Because I tell you for free, if you put a box now in a SALONE, tomorrow morning, SLPP will lose. But they will not accept it. The only way out now in a coalition where they sit down, then look, where they look, they don't see APC, they see Sierra Leone. Because SLPP, the wife, the president, and the one that we don't tell people in point blank to say, if you're not SLPP, you're not a true Sierra Leonean. So the only way you could make SLPP know say politics is not personal. Politics, now love of country. Now when the coalition come together. So when you sit down and look, the myself where they organize the election, when he see now a coalition they come under an umbrella, nobody know the tamper. The international community safe, although I don't think too much about them, no go come safe for Toxi. No. That is the only way they're going to remove the SLPP from power. You see, the SLPP has failed. Unfortunately, they have failed. Because the hope when they give certain people, but not like a we, because I'm on record saying that they're not be governed. It's on record. I wrote about it, I spoke about it, and I'll continue for talking. Because from the word go, they campaign with malice and they are governing with malice. You do not govern with malice. Paul, it is not a person, Sierra Leone, not a personal property. No political party has a right, has a monopoly over Sierra Leone. They came on board thinking that they had the rightful people who for govern Sierra Leone. There is no such political party anywhere in the world that can tell you or me that they're the rightful political party to govern, as Donald Trump was behaving in America. There is no political, as that man is struggling like Israel now. Netanyahu.
Yeah.
There is no political party in the world that will tell you, see, we are the rightful party to govern the country. No. The rightful people who are going to tell you that you for govern are the voters.
That's right.
But the SLPP are governing the country as if not the right for govern. Failing to realize that it was people who voted for say, okay, President Bio can go.
Okay, people, are they open the phone line? If you get specific question for Mr. Macauley, are they open the phone line? 2 minutes per caller, please, because it don't very late in England, but we want for drink as much as we can from Mr. Yeah. we went for drink as much as we can, and you see in energy, they die down, is still there up and alert with we. So we want drink and imbibe as much as we can tonight or this morning in your time. But I open the phone line. Another question where I want to ask you, who side and Thai cow? Now there you for it. They say David Nicole. You say, no, we said Baylor Barry, you said David Nicole. Baylor Barry, you said David Nicole. How has that harmed Sierra Leone? How has that harmed our generation? The generation before us, and even the generation to come?
No, me not to one way by that argument.
What do you make?
Because even Baylor Barry, all in Pekin and Lambuk, I know the family very well. Bailo Barry was a personal friend. I don't see though Bailo Barry 1-1 office next to immigration on the street. I don't see though Motoka.
Make a hold you there.
Yes.
You are looking at it from maybe a perception of closeness.
No. They can't do that.
Okay. I want to make you talk about
tell you, say, I don't buy that argument. Namek also start see Bailo Barry all in picking their land book. So if it was David Siniku, they say Bailo Barry say David Siniku, then you for me say Bailo Barry surround himself with illiterate people there. But Bailo Barry no surround himself with illiterate people there. Bailo Barry na even get the luck for crack and hold the diamond and make the money. But as a crack and make the diamond and sell the diamond, make the money, the first thing we do is find book money for the round them. Then once he get book money for the round them, he send him picking the old go school. Bailo Barry all in picking them are lawyers, doctors, pharmacists, you name it. So I do not buy this argument that they say Bailo Barry, you say David Siniko. Now out of laziness and the idea that Saloma won't go every no one die. Now that's not the problem.
So how that side and Thai cow na day you for it play into all of this? Hold you thought,
yes.
Make her take the call.
Yes.
Caller, waiting are your name and who you the call for? Hello, caller.
The call not go through.
Hello, caller. Sometimes there's a few minutes delay.
Okay.
A few seconds delay. Caller, you there, Yagiwi? I think they're trying to connect. You can hear the clicks. Okay, so let's continue. We lost the calls. Them on a continue for try. So I'll go back to you, sir.
Yes.
So how this
now outside the Thai Canada did it. Let me tell you this. You see, there is one politics in Sierra Leone where now that also affects the present government, which is Titan. Mina Shaka Stevens became in the sense that by the time they done school for begin work, it was under Shaka Stevens. And unfortunate for begin a profession we put me at the heart of events. Now, weekends in Sierra Leone, 1980, 81, 82, 83, 84, because I left Salone 84. When you don't work all weekend, you go and sit down. Friday morning. This is the one person, right across. You get people away to go to. You go to Jamil Shahid. So Mango condemn that. You go to MK Suma. You go to Pa Mustafa, MS Mustafa, Vice VP2, VP2. You go to Temu Bangwa. Or even go State House. So you go to Kamatelo. Go to Mami Danke, Aja Danke. You go down na fisheries. You go na candle factory. All the factory we get go nail factory. And I was said, because there was a time in Sierra Leone weekly they pay. Then a government normally they pay by month. No, you see no more. So when you don't get that, you maybe 40, 50 leos salary. By 10, by 12, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, by 5 o'clock, where you don't do 5, 6, 7 rounds inside Freetown or apply, you don't get like a 150 to 200 euros in your pocket. Then,
so now the shekan.
Then you get another set where when the rest reach SMPMB, then pick phone. Auntie Kadi must can't take you rest. Where Auntie Kadi go, it take 50 bag less. You pay for a 50 bag less. Wholesale at a good price. Where Auntie Kadi take that 50 bag less, where reach Naios. He said, call Jacob. Jacob come. Jacob take 10 bag less. Jacob pay Auntie Kadi your price. Jacob go. When Jacob reach, Jacob call. Say, call Brahma. Brahma come. Brahma taking 2 bag rest. When Brahma reach now house, Brahma call Saleh. Saleh, I don't come. Oh. Saleh can take half bag rest. From that half bag rest, he shave half. He can go to the market. He left half now house. When the Abbas come from Choi Tram, you go. You say, if you go take you 10 bag Abbas. When you come, you call so posse. He said, can take in 2 bag Abbas. It's can take 3 bag Abbas. Right across the country. Where you don't take 3 bag Abbas camp. This taking you. They call Goyanda. Where you go down to fisheries. They give you 20 bucks fish. Where you go to 20 bucks fish. You call, say, I don't come. This person come. They can't take your own 10 bucks fish. They can't go. That person
so it was a system of barter trading that developed the economy from within.
Yes. So, you know the gap no more, you say, our work. Because it was more of a trading environment where Shaka Stevens create. You understand?
Okay, make a holiday, make a go to the caller there, make a not lost them. Caller, who say you the call from? Which are you name and who say you the call from?
Yes, there we go. There they get her.
Hello, caller.
Okay. So you see.
Okay, if a caller not they come through, please I will ask the technical. The technical team just tell us when a caller comes through. Please make Mr. Ojukutu to continue.
So you see that.
Hello, caller.
Yeah. Is it coming from our?
Please go ahead.
So you see, so that is one aspect. Then you get the one them, including myself, when they talk to issue. When we don't pass around Freetown on a Friday, apart from the 70 millions when they pay me a tablet newspaper, by the time we reach Sabuya, now the street, by the 6 o'clock in the evening, I get over 400 millions in my pocket. Big money.
So that is what you call networking.
So from that 400 millions, who don't take you to Sabuya? I don't take you one beer, you go to Junior Mark. You don't take you 1 or 2 beer. The church was between Junior Mark and Sabuya. You understand? Then you can pull, you own 5 millions. You own big money. You don't take, of course, you don't take from that money, therefore you don't put to say that this are the care going house. Because I get for give me, because I've been also parents. Get for give me my sorting, get for give me sister sorting, get for give me brother sorting. And this now 4, I'm just talking about 4 of us. Me, the late Christian Williams, the late Kabakagbo, the late Donald John. 4. Then Betty Foy later on joined us. Right. Now, just imagine 4 or 5 of us don't work out. Each one don't get minimum 300 euros in pocket. Then you sit down. When this person can get 10 euros, when this person can get 5 euros, then when you reach home later that next day, you still get like a 250 euros in pocket. You left 100 euros now. For the week, now they tell you, light day, a bad day, water day, a bad day cannot not be that bad. You understand? A bad day, go across police. I'm talking about my own direct experience now. A bad day, we go across police, you're not going to pay for paper. Or we go along the police station, you're not going to pay for paper. And transport day, taxi day, you sit on a house, you call out that houseboy, say, go stop taxi for me, I want to go talk. The houseboy go to a taxi, the taxi break. He call, Mr. Macauley, I don't break the taxi, sir. You take your time, 1-1. You come, you sit down, you want the taxi, you go, where you go, you say, stop, go give Matilda lift. You can't see, sit on the back. Then when you in there, you go, when you talk across, Matilda saying, Paddy, hey, but stop, get a lift. He said, stop, it come. So, the issue of circulating, you understand me, and the USB gets more value. That's not me saying, not me the tifo. But when them the thief, when month done, government tight. That made them say that Jamil run the country. It's the same you go talk about here in America and other places where the business people and then get the money, the Bill Gates of this world. You understand? You pick phone, you call. Jamil Said, Shaka TV say we need for pay so. Jamil Said na the businessman. Bailo Barry na businessman. Not to me just Lebanese. Yaspek na businessman. That construction, Papa Davis, we be the Congo course, the construction man. These were all wealthy people. They come together. They say, well, Pa, we don't spend 1 million liosa left. They attend to government issues.
Now, make a holiday, make her go to the caller then. This is getting so interesting. I don't want to stop, but I need to go to the caller then. Caller, what's your name and also you the call from?
Then you got problem with the call.
Okay. Can you hear?
Hi, caller, what's your name and also you the call from?
Yes, Ms. Matilda, this is Harun Zubairu. And Mr. Macauley, thanks for everything you do, sir.
Thank you.
This is very interesting. I like the show. I like the history, and you make me learn a lot today, sir. There are a couple of questions that I want to ask you, sir. When you think about the president, then we don't come. Who do you go first in the worst presidents we don't ever get? Because me, they anticipate, or me, the thing say, not that you are one of the worst presidents, sir. And
the worst president.
And that asks you the following question, right? And never think about this. Right?
Mr. Aaron, you they crack up quite a bit, so maybe move away from your set.
Did he say the worst president?
I think that's what he said. I'm not sure, but I want to make you repeat the question.
Yes, I want to make you tell me, based on your own opinion, which is what are the worst presidents we don't ever get. But the
The
second, have
worst
you seen
president, he said, yeah.
It's President Bill. I'm not
okay,
even think
so
twice.
but you have to explain what to make you say so. And the next one is, have you ever seen something like this in Connaught where they beat doctor them? You don't ever see something like this. You don't see Connaught beat something like this ever. I mean, I just want to make you talk and just talk about that historically, sir. Thank you very much.
Funnily
Okay,
enough,
thank you very much. So, Mr. Macauley, I will write the questions then down, and maybe Yusuf can jot them down. That way you can answer them in one.
No, I get them. So right.
Okay, so I will
funnily
go
enough,
to the next caller because I want.
Okay, one check.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
yes.
I see what you mean.
Caller, waiting at your name and who say they call from.
All right, Mina Ibrahim, I call from Maryland, United States.
Okay.
Yes, I want to tell you plenty thank you. I want to tell Mr. Macauley plenty thank you. It all educates some of we a lot this evening. We learn a lot. Some of we not been born the same way they talk about. At least we get idea, and because we don't read some stuff them about all of the issue them we talk about. We very clear to we learn a lot, but some things and a good way we get in discussion there so because that prudent discussion there so we all learn and we know the way forward because now in the issue of journalism and politics, as Mr. Macauley said, journalists and politicians and they work hand in hand. Then today in Sierra Leone, even when the journalists say the truth, it look like the journalist biased. It look like the journalist supports one political party. And we all know a lot of time in journalism, journalists they talk about things where they affect the layman, things where they affect the people. And you find out because of USA we come out Sierra Leone, a lot of things them where they affect the people are bad things. So as a journalist, if you keep on reporting most of them bad things that will happen to the people, where they affect the people, other people will not favor you, will always think say you dey against them. So journalists will always get problem with party supporters them and other people them. That's now one. Then in the issue of this APC SLPP, where Mr. Macauley will talk about, they mention other African countries them where the political party them we start independence, not they exist now. The reason why make we still they exist at their factory now because of tribalism. We two political parties them not go able for split because we don't allow tribe them for enter inside them political party. But a lot of we back in Sierra Leone, they refuse for accept this truth that we don't allow tribalism for enter inside into political party. Right now, you go to APC, you tell us, say, tribe the real APC now, so you get party member that will argue you. You go to SLPP, you tell us, say, tribalism the real SLPP, so you get SLP party member that will argue you in a lie. But that's not the fact. This tribalism we don't come now in the affect all aspects na Sierra Leone today. This tribalism, if we fail for say this na problem. We don't allow tribe for take place everywhere. Then I disagree a little bit with Mr. Macauley where he talk about Camarimba will be the third force next election. I think we're not going to forget the third force next election based on what happens inside just these 2-3 years. The third force will be there when we see.
Okay, caller. So now 2 minutes, I go say make you call back so I go give the other callers them chance for talk because we did well into time. Caller waiting at your name and who say you they call from.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, caller. Waiting at your name and who say they call from.
My name is Tijana. I call from Connecticut.
Okay, go ahead. Waiting at your question
for Mr. Macauley. Tijan from Connecticut. Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We listen.
Yeah. Mr. Macauley they talk about these two parties for wipe them out. Now, he say for form one of the two parties then for pool SLPP. So what is the difference? That is one. Then the second question, Sierra Leone don't divide from the breaches, the north and the south. Not so now it don't divide. It divide. Let's look about both schools, grammar school. We self read history. What are the reason what the breaches they have for from both schools? So a lot of things don't go bad. Now we only talk about President Bio bad, President Bio bad. Mr. Macauley and Matilda, once if they go put on a today in Sierra Leone for rule Sierra Leone, and I'm not going to take 1 week as president. The mindset of Sierra Leonean, a bad past anything. So it's not like everything will they oppose this president. The president, if he done most of the things they already happen, they know they know. If he acts to negotiate president zero violence. So a lot of things they will for change. The mindset for us now for change about Sierra Leonean. Then the third question, we talk about Sheikha Stephen in town. Let's look how many years Sheikha Stephen rules Sierra Leone for. I heard Mr. Macauley tell me one university where Sheikha Stephen building in Sierra Leone. That's also will stop me question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. They take 2 more calls and get Mr. Macauley the chance for go through a set of 5 questions there. 2 more calls to go. Caller waiting on your name and who say the call from.
Good day. How will you do?
Yes, good evening. We tell God.
How will you do? Yeah. I just want to say something. I don't listen to Una. But me, the problem, what I want to know, right? SALONE don't make big mistake. SALONE don't make big mistake. And this always at the talk. SALONE don't make big mistake. Madam, you know, invent to go revenge other country, but people don't know. Right? Well, this person be don't dey out. If you don't dey out for so long, you don't get money, you don't get nothing. Na party they get money, na party they survival. Then people they go take that one whole country, they go give that kind of person dey. Right? Then when they see the guy, all the people away he go give position, and people who be overseas, who they all also nothing, no get nothing. They go in that he go put them position a day. I wanna expect to country they go before. When I this question I can ask people like, I wanna what the people like cabal they don't make cabal. They don't make cabal to themselves, they don't get at themselves. For go scam that country. I tell you now, this all they make so they this way that these are mistakes alone they don't make. Big mistake nice and they don't make. I tell you like this. You know? So this talk all they talk now, this will don't fall down, we don't fall, SALONE don't fall. And this SALONE don't fall, it don't fall. This 5 year wouldn't die then they rule so. Now for the family, they you know, they believe that they come on power and they need to pull again. So now this they go right now in the country. This man, you know, care about what this man are revenge to go revenge. Now SALONE. People know they think. We have to go put 4 posts, you know, get money, you know, get house in SALONE, and go get a country for rule. The family, I'm not expect this country to go before now. Eh? That man goes to London, and you don't get nothing, you don't get motorcar for driving on the street. Motorcar, you don't get. But now go get a country now. How will now let this country go before? SALONE man, we know they think. SALONE man will fool. And we will fool them, SALONE man. We have to go to talk for this man. Meaning, they have the one.
Okay. Hi, caller. I will go to the next caller, and unfortunately, this will be my final caller for tonight. I promise say Mr. Ojukutu-Macauley go join we back. I go make sure say at the time next time we join, we will try for arrange for start the show a little earlier so that it not so late in your own time, and una self will get time for talk and discuss and go inside the issue. But for tonight, this is the last call. Caller, waiting at your name and who say the call. Hello, caller.
Hello, you get me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, this time Ezekiel, they call from Oregon.
Okay, caller, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you talk.
Oh, okay, sorry. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming with Winston. When you read the name, that I've been listening on over the radio where I didn't store. I've been the run for come see on Facebook, you know. I want to say I'm very starstruck for CM. I think the first thing we are a little bit curious about now the issue where we be talk about Carifasuma. Where the country dupe out of the for rule that country they twice in a row with almost twice in with the same I would say, well, I don't really want to put on tribe, but the same party. And then you end up for indicates that as long as we get the two party, then we will continue for struggle, which in most cases have been done talk because when after the war we're not able to turn the page, we're not able to change anything. You know, and so make everything difficult. But I just wonder, in the vein of another party besides the two party, you know, think saying that was the reason why Carifasma was pushed aside twice because he not belong to them any of them two parties, and the way then get the stronghold of tribe and region. That's my question on that. And then the next thing, I don't know what thing go change. Really, with voters' mind, obviously, we know say the illiteracy is high, but I would say actually now people the way they educate now, then they cause more trouble in that country in terms of educating the electorate. Because, for example, who's kind even the opposition where Biocam, what thing they been do for educate the people and say that man, at least the known money what we know where he been go with Ghana, it was $18 million. That man not even go for go build one school. Now, we say it comes with $18 million. Just $1 million if we don't have to build how many schools that burnt district. In not one. What in the opposition been do for educate the people? Say somebody got this amount of dollars. You not even build small thing na a young place. Why you feel say it go can't turn the page another way around? What thing them be do for educate the people concerning that? They were all quiet. Nobody not even indicate anything concerning that. They not educate the people on that. You know? So I think say now more of the party them way than they try for educate people about the opposition instead.
Okay, thank you very much, Kaladande. Go be my last call for tonight. But like I said, I promise you, at the see, they read the comments, them very positive comments, them people them a little bit aggrieved because you know they know say I'm about to wrap up the show. But listen, Mr. Ojukutu-Macauley gave us sleep. You know, now morning 10 to right now. But again, like I say, what greater love can you show for your country and, you know, dedication and patriotism? But I promise you, I say it will come back na yaso. Una remember say this 60th year, 60 years, I don't tell una for say not to April 27 it is done. For me, it's going till the end of the year. Because there's so much to talk about, there's so much to discuss. So for the one them way they talk say, I not get the opportunity for call, I not get the opportunity for ask me question. There will be plenty of time for you to call. There will be plenty of time for you to ask your questions. It's just not today, but it will be another day. Mr. Macauley, I go make you answer the callers then questions or comments or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Because me whiskey don't do so I can't get me whiskey back. Anyway, I will start from the last question. Yes, indeed, Carifasmat was deprived twice. from ruling Sierra Leone. But the first time I've been member of the SFPP government. Now they all been work with Sam Milton. It was deputy to Sam Milton. And when Sam Milton the work, now he and Carifa Smart been the work. And Sam Milton been done already. If anybody know the history of Sierra Leone, saying that in Sam Milton we don't nominate us because Sam Milton is sick. Say some Carifa Smart now for be the next prime minister. But Carifa Smart, as anybody will know, now Loco Creole. And so the brother of Sam Milton, winner Albert Magai, manipulate, and then the rest, as they say, is history. He ended up being the prime minister. And then on the second occasion, it was Dr. James Jonah and Madabio that deprived Carifa Smart of governing the country after the 1996 election. Those of us who were there know what happened with that. With regards to the post we talk about President Bio, when the fourth post we come with a question, not of us say, no, somebody talks here, yes, no, he say, no, intention, regret, the post we say the vex where they talk to, where the President Bio. I will tell you something. I missed out on £700 the other week when I was asked by a media company in the UK for monitor all the press briefings and interviews with President Biodigi. I started watching the Umar Fofana interview. It did on the phone. I switched off because it was very irritating. It was very annoying. President Bio was not guarded when he talk. He used a word that is so dangerous that even Sylvia Blyden mentioned it. He used the word, say, what they do is intentional. Everything they're doing is intentional. So the prison thing, the McKinney thing, the way the governor, everything is intentional. So I will read something where I send to somebody where ask me waiting at me view on the Bio press tour and interview. Make you understand, wait me to understand what you try to say, but in statement. I say good talk. This is not somebody way send me a statement where they talk. I say good talk. I say but power and lack of confidence. Then I refer to Cherikoko because Cherikoko self make a statement. When Cherikoko they talk about the census and whatnot, he self made the talk. But when you watch him as leader of the opposition in the parliament, he not get the confidence. You know, get the, you know, that thing where somebody they talk, you see the power panel. It was completely lacking. Then I say, the president has stated, that is President Bio, the president has stated that his government actions are intentional, quote unquote. Meaning of intentional. Go take dictionary and look. Meaning of intentional means you don't plan them. You intend for do them. It is deliberate, calculated. In other words, they are doing things on purpose. President Bio said it, not to me. He said, everything what they do is intentional. So that possible talk say President Bio don't know what they do. Of course he know what they do. This is the man who went publicly na England, na London, say him as leader, he no go always talk. But he no expect his supporters them for be quiet. So everything he's doing is intentional. It is planned. So like nobody not tell me, see, waiting to go on Sierra Leone, President Bio is not aware. They ask him about Lara Taylor Pierce, the Auditor General. When at the British government, we were to pay tax in this country. Now money they take pay Lara Taylor. Not just alone government they pay more. Now, British
No,
government.
yeah. Actually, I want you to say that because I said that a while back, and people let me feel saying a joke at the joke.
The
But
British
I want
government,
people to report that.
the British government, they pay Lara Theopias, the head of anti-corruption,
Yeah.
and then the military and the police.
Yeah.
Their salaries are being paid by the British government, not to SALONE government. And if you, they ask you, say, what are your impression or what you think about what you go with Lara Theopias, instead of you respond, you say you not talk about me wife. It's personal. It's in governing a country is not personal. It is a national country, the government. You are president. It's like somebody asking Donald Trump with all his jaga way Japan. You hear one day talk say Ivana or Ivana, what's the woman herself?
Ivana.
Ivana, you hear one day talk. No. So you and the talk say BO this and that. No. President BO has failed. Look the manifesto of the SLPP. President BO campaign, the cost APC say APC the thief. APC this, APC that. Look the way they don't govern in 3 years. Where you see SLPP people themselves to talk say in 5 years of Ernest Koroma in government, Ernest Koroma say in 100 days I will light Freetown. In 100 days, he light Freetown. Una tell me one thing what President Bill do in 100 days. Even the free education, he say they add more teachers than the free education, but they're not receiving salaries now. You say you add more nurses than the nursing role, but you know they pay the nurses there now. So what good has he done for Sierra Leone? He has failed. And this thing is not personal. It is not to foresee this. I tell somebody else, see, the issue facing Sierra Leone now is no longer an APC SLPP issue. The issue facing Sierra Leone now is what you and me, as Sierra Leoneans, what kind of Sierra Leone do we want? That is the question now. It is no longer about whether you are APC or SLPP or NGC, no. The issue facing you and I now is what kind of Sierra Leone do we want? Do we want the Sierra Leone that is governed by SLPP, where the president will have to tell you, see, if you know to SLPP, you are not a Sierra Leonean? Is that the Sierra Leone you want? Is that, look what happened at Hastings 10 days here. Policeman, they all gone now for land, private matter, he shoot and kill somebody. So you in the talk of President Bio, no, it is not, President Bio know what didn't happen. It is not a personal attack anymore. It is, we, Sierra Leone, then, they own a doctor, we can see that machine, where they give you life, now Then, to the man we talk about Kambaremba, I don't say Kambaremba na a third force. I say Kambaremba is going to be part of the third force. We get for join APC. Otherwise, there's no chance for the opposition. The opposition needs to come together. Kambaremba, when he come out, could be a very powerful person. You cannot take that away from him. Because he has gained sympathy. And a man will sabi talk back. So now that the only reason that made a whole move is sabi talk and he's not afraid for talk. So now he make the whole on a Paremba road. And then go get for left farm. And with the left farm, he will be part of the third force. That is the problem. That's what I said. Then somebody mentioned Bo School and Sierra Leone Grammar School.
Yeah, so he said the person said the British were part of the problem. Waiting make them institute grammar school and both school. Waiting at the history behind that, and if then they said not to part of the bigger picture of the problem.
Both school a SALONE Grammar School. I went to the SALONE Grammar School. I don't know if I talk here, they will say I'm being a bit biased or being not being neutral. SALONE Grammar School, unlike the Bow School, for many years, took in and continue to take people of all tribes. Bow School, for a considerable period of time, if you were not from a chieftaincy household, you would not attend the Bow School.
Mhm.
So you should not compare SALONE Grammar School and Bow School. SALONE Grammar School, for many years and up till now, they take you, whether you're in a Fula, whether you're in a Creole, whether you're in a Temini. And then they say, pass you come on a chieftaincy house before you attend SALONE Grammar School. Bow School, for a considerable time, for many years, if you not come out na chief host, you know they go Bow School. Now later on, they break that tradition and begin to take people away, because the British people have said Bow School for picking a common paramount chief, for maintain the paramount chief structure. Now later on, they may get people away say, okay, you know, to paramount chief picking can Bow School. Before that, you go to CKC, you go to Maburuka Boys Secondary School, or there were 3 other schools you go, but you don't go to Bow School if you don't come on a chief force. So it is not a fair comparison. But of course, the white man them were part of the problems and then continue to be part of the problem. But you see, the white man will continue to be part of the problem if you don't know how to govern your country. The white man is no longer a problem in Rwanda. The white man is no longer a problem in Kenya. The white man is no longer a problem in Ghana.
In Tanzania as well.
Tanzania. Even when they talk about the Chinese, this and that, no. If you go to them continent, the way the countries are being governed, no. In Kenya, for instance, last week, the British government put Kenya on the red list for this COVID. Before they did it all, the Kenyan government went on air and put British under the red light and say, regardless of what you can spend in Kenya, when you come, you go quarantine. Now you pay for it. Yes. So in Rwanda, white man only dictate to Rwanda. Rwanda they advertise football. Now football Then tell Rwanda say why make they can spend almost $1 million for advertising a football field for one of the football teams them. The man tell me say na my money. I spend I spend. Not tell me what you have to do with my money. Sierra Leone, as we speak, they dance where IMF give you money. I don't know of any other country in the world where they receive aid and then dance over it. It's disgraceful. So, for say, now Whitman, no. The Whitman been get away with we, yes, but now it's left with us. Ghana, when the French president go Ghana, the French president tell us, say, don't talk when I'm talking. Listen to me what I tell you. President Bio get mind for do that? No, he won't do it. So, not to Whitman
and told the Swiss, enough of your processing. We are going to process our
chocolate. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the APC SLPP tribalism issue. You see, the APC and the SLPP do the tribalism. A lot of people don't even know CFC, not to make them form SLPP. A lot of people don't even know see, not to make form APC. The core people we form them 2 parties were the Creoles.
That's true.
We're the Creoles. When today we, excuse me, French, some of you stupid Creole people in the talk say they're not mixed about politics. Not Creoles. SLPP, APC, yes. And then you will get the People's Party, you will get this, you will get that. Then they all form, they come together and call Sierra Leone People's Party, then APC. Shaka Stevens, not a Shaka Stevens form APC. Now call Shaka Stevens. The APC core, the only one we left now amongst the original people, up to 61 we left, and one green left, and a Sani Sise, when I the treasurer of the party.
And there was a time, in fact, when the SLPP wasn't called the SLPP, it wasn't called the palm tree or the whatever, it was called Apple, and the Apple Party. And what can talk and the people and can say, Matilda, also you come out with your Apple nonsense. But
now,
it's true.
When the Timini man, they're not even Mende, the Timini man them, we be there with the SLP, they call the Creole people and camp. Now they come together with Sir Milton. Sir Milton and Shabu, not to Mende.
That's true.
Then come, then form the party. Now, later, Bakaba in time, not to even under Albert Maga in time. Now, after Shaka Stevens time, where you get, because even SB Magano to Mende, SB Magana Karanko from Kabbalah, where they did SLPP. But Mustafa, Nafoube, the core people of SLPP, why they call so now. The original people with na Samabaya no more, na SLPP, na Mende. But for some reason, the Mendes somewhere along the line captured the SLPP. Now they say na Mende party. And that is going to affect them in 2023. Because funnily enough, the Mende man na treat na Kenema. Now, for every 5 Mende man, the next election, 2 not the vote for SLPP. The 5 we vote last election 2018, for every 5, 2 not the vote for SLPP 2023.
That's a big number. Anyways, I want to do some quick rapid fire questions then for make we wrap up. Just quick rapid fire 1 minute answer question for make we wrap up. And then in another segment, we go delve into then rapid fire questions, scenarios, then they a little more. Dr. Sylvia Blyden, personal vendetta, political ambition, journalistic professionalism or unprofessionalism, or something in between.
Dr. Sylvia Blyden. Dr. Sylvia Blyden, my man, Papa, me, God parents them where I'm married. I get great respect for Auntie Sylvia and the late Pa. The late Pa was my personal friend. I want to say one thing about Dr. Sylvia Blyden. We've crossed on 1 or 2 occasions. They say 1 or 2 people and send message to me when they try to talk to they say in a seasoned politician, in a political figure. I just want to say I will not go into most of what he talk.
No, just in 1 minute.
In 1 minute,
rapid fire.
She is if we claim any political capital now, which I think she has a right to claim some now because Anes Kuruma Siamengia political office. Let her don't forget that. If you get any political capital now, Anes Kuruma be invests, so now make it get profit from the political capital. May not forget that. Before Anes Kuruma invest Panam, she was just a newspaper owner. So if you say in a politician now, even though we don't contest at one time, but the political capital where it claim now forget, now Anes Kuruma be invest Panam. That is all I have to say with that regards.
The Sierra Leone police, a force for good or a force for evil? A force that protects the powers that be or a force that's against the people they're supposed to be protecting?
Unfortunately, it was meant to be a force for good, but we don't end up with a reckless bunch of men and women who don't even know the meaning of the word policing. So they are basically abusers of human rights.
Abusers of women's rights.
And I think some of them should be held accountable, including the Inspector General of Police, who, by the way, is a personal friend. But I think he too has been a disappointment. Yeah.
The head of anti-corruption, Francis Ben Kelfala,
is a waste of time.
I don't even know how to call him.
He's a waste of time.
He's a waste of time.
He's a waste of time.
Just keep moving on. Lara Taylor Pierce, for the people or against the government?
A brilliant woman that they wanted to bully, but it took a stand, so the bully no work. So kudos to her. Yes.
President Madabio, 3 years in office.
30% out of 100.
30% out of 100. Thank you very much, Mr. Winston Ojukutu-Macauley. I go let you make you say your final words to the people them this morning, and then we go come back another time for Sidona Yaso and
Alia.
Yes, Alia, absolutely Alia.
Because do not clean.
Yes.
I won't say I don't get much to say other than the fact that you read the talk say you know I know about salon politics, you know mixed band politics. Sierra Leone, now your country. You did England or America or Germany or France today, because there was a time when people had make sacrifice for make Germany, France, United Kingdom, America be what it is today. So don't forget that. So we say, you know, I know about salon, you know, I talk about salon politics. People made sacrifices for you to be where you are today. Yeah.
Okay, me family them. Unadonyeri from the great man himself. The conversation is fascinating. I see the comments. The comments are like ongoing. There is a nice banter going on. People then they go back and forward. And I know for say una want to make a continue, but listen, everything gets in timing. And as I promise una, Mr. Winston Ojukutu-Macauley go come and sit down Ayaso with me again. And a much more earlier time, maybe it might even be on a weekend, you know, in the daytime, where you all can tune in and have your say. But we go plan them in such a way that I'll assure that, you know, time will do you justice for those of you who are in Europe and other parts of the world, and for those of us who are in North America, and also in Australian and Chinese people, they're all day online right now, then they watch. I will make sure we time it in such a way that time will do all of us justice. I want to end the show today with two, scripts or scribbles them from two young gentlemen of the soil, as all these years so they go on with the police brutality, with waiting happen at Connaught, with the lady where them brutalized Binta, the IPAM student, and then even yesterday with the man where them killed because of a piece of phone and land. So the first person writes this, scribbled this shortly after the riot in IPAM, following, not knowing what would become the fate of, Dr. Christy Johnson Cole in the morning at Connaught. So I saw this gentleman has to write. And remember, everything I read here, I have sought permission from the writers, from the authors, before I read them. Okay, says, another day of student protest in Sierra Leone. Thousands of students at risk for not graduating. University management, outrageously full of corruption and unacceptability. Lecturers collecting monies just to grade papers. New norm. Class reps collect monies to grade grades.
Wow.
To get grades. Lecturers continue to fail students just because they don't like you, or you refuse to sleep with them, or you dating the girl they like, or you have a rich father they know, or etc., etc., etc. A government that talks about improving education, building capacity, developing skills, yet lecturers and professors keep take pride in failing students, having half or more of their classes failing. Lecturers boastful about only using their jobs as a side hustle and not even care. Lecturers missing half of their semester classes and expecting students to know what they haven't been taught. Lecturers showing up 2 hours into a 3-hour class and expecting students to be there. No one is crying foul. Most students' grievances met with the best police brutality the country can offer. No one now shouting for the end of it. Soon you will see them campaigning to end police brutality in some country other than ours. Where are the voices of the future? Where are the civil society groups that are supposed to be fighting for our rights? Where are the so-called education activists fighting for a better tomorrow? A country on edge with no one seeming to care, or the voices of those that care being drowned by the voices of the party supporters. A country where a college graduate struggle to construct proper sentences or even know how to turn on a computer. Talk about 2021 dilemma. What are we doing? Where are we going? What do we want? Do we even know? Do we even care? Do we even have an ounce of an idea? 60 years of independence. What do we have to show for it? We celebrate minerals and mining, yet after 60 years, we still only export dirt and no value-added finished product. 60 years, and we have import over 90% of the cheapest and most valuable sources. If animal protein consume eggs, 50 years of what? And we say happy independence. Are we really happy? Do we really have something to be happy about? Sierra Leone at 60. What are we doing? Misplaced priorities, hashtag the person wrote. And I'm going to read another one by another gentleman, another son of the soil. He goes, let's get real. Once upon a time, and it came to pass within 2 sunrises and sunsets that 2 major storms and a flurry of press releases hit the faces of a repeatedly peaceful nation. Firstly, the perennial issue of gangster leading educational institutions along these subjects, tenants and slave. Archly and downright inefficient and ineffective means of teaching, learning, grading, and extremely diabolical methods of doing everything. Munku holding high offices. Secondly, a bunch of misfit, ragtag boys, scouts, gallivanting in borrowing robes, claiming to be protectors of life and properties. A handful of boys and maybe girls saw the need to beat into a pool of an unharmed woman. High-handedness, cowardice, and madness of a perpetuous, unseen and unmatched. Finally, a confusing press release, badly authored and thought out, and bringing into this disrepute the very admission process that culminated in a riot to graduate. If university students can blatantly ignore that the Queen is in mourning and do such injustice to a language, it only leaves me to wonder, God is indeed a merciful God. Now, for this writer, you really have to put your cap on to understand what he's saying, because he goes deep. Mm-hmm. Now, he goes on to say, Part 2, after a second sunrise, was even more contradictory to the lofty democratic promises and reports and survey from distant territories claiming happiness and peace. A young lady who, without funding from donor agencies, is bringing attention to the ill health of the healthcare available to the people, receiving not so kind donations of wounds and bruises from public servants collecting salaries paid by taxpayers, to ultimately send me into orgasm, delirium. Some overpaid comedian authored a press release gilded with so many insults and condescension in every sentence and signed as a minister. Coming events cast their shadows long before now, when corruption and big fool preceded his confirmation to hold office. I cannot be surprised, as no less a person, but the mother of the nation, had warned us to be weary of very stupid men with doctorates. When we were much younger, we look forward to excitement to finishing school and becoming professionals. But today, the joy of holding credential is practically melancholic. Nobody is reining in the Boy Scout. They beat everyone with shocking impunity, and they go to the media outlet represented by academics dwarfs to make foolish excuses. Most of these miscreants who dress up and act warlike movies in the streets were little deprived kids when the rebel war started. They should ask, aside from the military, which profession was the next to have the most casualties. Maybe then and only then would they realize that a day of reckoning would come when there shall be garnishing of teeth and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
They would see and feel the anger and wrath of the oppressed and the downtrodden. Those smelly blue uniforms would be heavy. They would tear them off and run for their life.
Yeah.
Only then would they realize what true power is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me famulden, I no get more for hard.
Good.
He who has ears, let them hear.
Yeah.
May God bless you all. Until I see una again next week, same time. May God continue to bless Mama Salone in whatever shape or form that is. Mr. Winston Ojukutu-Macauley, thank you very much. I know it is early in the morning. I hope you are able to get some rest.
I will.
Thank you for your patriotism.
No
Thank
problem.
you for your dedication.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Sorrow. leave me.